What's up, boys? We're back. Episode 9. It's been a little bit of a delay, I guess. We're usually daily uploaders, so that's kind of what we're known for. Fuck me. Alright. I mean, kinda. We've been pretty consistent this week.
This week.
I mean, it's a short sample size. Just a quick clarification. If anybody is viewing this, please, come out of the bushes. Make yourself known. I mean, we just need to know if anybody really cares about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Alright, we're just going to go into the headlines. For those who didn't watch the last episode, headlines are basically, notable news that we're not going to touch on throughout the podcast.
I think people know
it's just a description, mate. Fuck. Alright, first piece of news. The Bengals season is officially over. So, AJ Green's out.
A bit earlier this time, about 2 or 3 weeks early this year, but...
No, I would say about 10 weeks. I mean, 10 weeks from now is week 3. That's usually when it's over.
Usually around week 6 is when
Usually around week 6, I kind of just start watching college football because what's even the point anymore?
That's when it gets really bad.
But this year, AJ Green's out 6 to 8 weeks. It's gonna be 10 weeks because it's a really touchy area. I mean, the only positive here is that at least it's gonna happen during the season, so Zach Taylor can go through training camp, preparing without him. I guess. We're just kind of fucked, really.
Okay. It's not that bad. He'll be back.
He'll be back by He'll be back for at least the Monday night game against Pittsburgh. That's week 4. He should be back.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that bad. And you got John Ross. I mean, that's 2 weeks. That's not bad.
Well, no, it's not that it's a big deal. It's just oh, here we go again. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not over.
No, the Bengals are a cursed team. Dude, we haven't had a healthy first round pick since 2013.
That's true.
So AJ's out. I mean, at least it happened now, but it's just not great anyways. John Ross is hurt for 2 weeks, sure, but it's just he can't stay healthy. Hopefully Stanley Morgan Jr. can step up, I guess. But yeah, I mean, optimism's way down. Anyway, I mean, dude, draft Tyler Boyd, please. His ADP should be skyrocketing. Because now he's number 1. What?
I mean, for now, but when the season starts, he'll be back to number 2 after a couple weeks.
Well, if AJ is still AJ.
Sure.
It's a difference between coming back and then being back. You get what I'm saying? It's okay, you could be... It's what I would say for, because, when I had surgery on my... So, right now I'm, healthy, but it still takes a while for you to be back to normal. I don't feel normal. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's for AJ, sure, he'll be able to play football week 2, week 3, week 4, but when will he be back to what he is? So that's kind of. I mean, yeah. You mean this should help Tyler Boyd out for fans. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. The funny part about it is the field they played on.
No, it has nothing to do with the field. The injury had nothing to do with the field.
Nothing to do with the field.
0.
Really?
Yeah, it was he got tangled up with Drake Kirkpatrick. The field had no impact on it.
I don't know.
No, the team doctor and this. Oh, it was for an NFL charity thing.
Yeah, but still.
No, but I agree with it. We shouldn't be practicing it, but it didn't cause AJ's injury. The team doctor said it, Taylor said it, and then do you follow that guy on Twitter, the former team doctor for the Chargers?
Oh, I don't, but I know you're talking.
Oh yeah, so that guy said it has nothing to do with it. So I mean, I'm gonna take those guys' opinion.
All right.
The only other piece of news is the whole Zeke thing. The fact that Jerry Jones said that you can win a Super Bowl without having the NFL leading rusher. He's completely right, but dude, I'm not drafting Zeke this year. Dude, it's just
Wait, you said you're not drafting Zeke?
I mean, dude, it's gonna be a hold. I don't think they're gonna get a deal done, and I don't think that Zeke's gonna come back.
You don't think he's coming back?
I don't know. Right now, it's not. It's looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, sure.
The fact that the owner's saying that, it's just not a good sign.
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
It must be pretty bad if you're saying that.
Yeah, we've talked about Zeke way too much, so that's kind of it. All right, so this podcast...
We're signed Alfred Morris, so just to give you
who cares, dude?
I don't know. I mean, they're just preparing. I mean, it's something,
I mean, but it's Alfred fucking Morris. Are we really gonna get... are we really talking about Alfred on this podcast?
They sign a running back. That might display something in negotiations.
All right.
Oh, man.
So this podcast is all about... We're calling this podcast the buy or sell. So basically, for the 3 facets of our podcast. We're gonna have like 5 different topics, and you're gonna either buy it or you're gonna sell it. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
You guys, you'll catch along, basically. So we're gonna start with sports. So the first topic we're talking about is: do you buy or sell the fact that coaching in the NFL is like more important to winning than a star quarterback? So you can go first on this one.
I'm gonna buy.
Okay.
I think coaching is more. Or do you agree?
Yeah, I buy too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think, quarterback's definitely the second most important thing.
Yeah.
After the coaching, I think the coaching, if you can get a game plan for both offense and defense, even if you don't have a great quarterback, you can still, like, just schematically, you can break down a team. You know what I mean? You don't have an incredible passer of the football.
Yeah.
I just think if you have this scheme on both sides of the football with an incredible coach and your players are prepared, I think, I'd say it's more valuable.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I kind of like took this question as like, what would I rather have? And I would easily rather have the top tier coach because he obviously impacts your entire team. Like he changes the culture. He makes everybody better. While a quarterback, he can only do so much. Like we've seen it like with star quarterbacks like Rodgers. He won 1 Super Bowl, but since then he's kind of been not trash, but you get what I'm saying. Like Russell Wilson, he can't do anything. Like so, I feel like the power of a quarterback only goes so far. While a coach, if you have like a Belichick, you're set. You're like So we're not gonna get into like the whole Belichick Brady thing, but without Belichick, Brady doesn't win shit. Belichick's defenses have been unreal. They're always insane in the playoffs. And, offensively, that's what Belichick, he's not an offensive, like, that's not what he's known for, but I feel like, he does enough for Brady to just succeed. So, I feel like coaching is just heavily underrated because, we all look at, like, the names of a player, but, like, if you don't have a good coach, you're fucked. Easy. Like, there's just teams in the league where they have a bunch of talent and they're not going to win shit because they have a bad coach. Like, the Texans, they're not going to win anything. Because they have Bill O'Brien.
Okay. Bill O'Brien's not a bad.
He's a dipshit, bro. He's gone nowhere.
Not bad.
But like, he can make the playoffs, but he won't win anything. It's just like you can only go so far with mediocre coaches.
Okay.
Yes, I just use that because I'm just saying like a quarterback can't uplift a mediocre coach. Like a star coach can uplift a mediocre quarterback. You get what I'm saying?
All right. Yeah. Sure.
All right. Next topic. Do you buy or sell the fact that chemistry is more important than talent? So this is kind of like all sports. I would kind of put this in like the all sports category. So what do you think?
This one's kind of tough.
This is a tough one. This is an interesting one.
This is actually.
See, personally, I'm taking chemistry over talent every day. Just because I've seen it so many times that like you look at a team and you're like, dog, that team is so talented, they just can't figure it out. Like obviously you need both to win, but I feel like chemistry is so much more important. Because if you're working together as a unit, you like people kind of feed off each other. While, talent, if shit hits the fan early in the season, I feel like people would just start playing for themselves. You get what I think you get what I'm saying.
All right, I'm gonna say talent.
Okay.
Just because I think there needs to be the potential there. Because I think if you don't have that talent, you could be the most.
Well, obviously you need both to win. Obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like I feel like I would rather have more chemistry than talent. And I feel like that's shown throughout sports.
I just think talent can take you farther, and it's much harder to obtain. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I feel like they're kind of the same.
I don't know, maybe.
Because like, while obviously talent's really hard to obtain, like building a really good culture is also hard to obtain.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
So I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. I just kind of use like recent winners like the Patriots. Obviously they've won 6 Super Bowls in the past 19 years or whatever, but they've never like the one time they had the most talented team in the league in 2007 they lost. I know that's like you could say that's an outlier, but like this year who was more talented, the Rams or the Pats? The Rams by a landslide. and the Pats made them look stupid. Like they do it kind of over and over again. I feel like the Pats, since they have such good chemistry and everyone knows what they're gonna, that makes up for the lack of talent. And
okay, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, it's like there's not really a wrong answer. But like when you look at the Celtics this year, they had the most talent in the league, and they couldn't figure out chemistry, and they're fucked. Like they were fucked from the get-go.
Yeah, but then you look at
No, we might have some. All right, we have some technical difficulties here, boys. So basically, I'll just kind of elaborate on my point here. So I think that the Celtics, they've always been known for chemistry. Like the whole, the Celtics have always been underdogs in the league. So I feel like the fact that they kind of lost their identity this year was really it was the beginning of their downfall, because they didn't really have a chance in like the grand scheme of things, because no one wanted to play for each other. They just wanted to play for themselves. All right. We'll see how long it takes to get Kieran back on the line here, boys. I'll just tell a story while we wait. So, for those that don't know, Madden 20 is coming out tomorrow or today as we're recording. So I went to Target today, right? There was like a Target emails these flyers. Oh, are we back? Are we back? Hello?
Yeah, we're back.
All right, we're back. So so just kind of elaborate on your point. We're good. I talked about some things.
Let me just explain. My phone actually overheated. It was the temperature.
Oh, it overheated again? Damn.
Yeah, so it was it comes up the thermometer and it's like, can't use it.
Oh, yeah. Damn, dude, what? Shit. Really?
Yeah, I know, dude.
Go get like an ice pack. No, I'm kidding. That's fucking stupid.
What?
All right, so do you have any other points you want to make?
I was just gonna talk about the Hawks. I think it was either 2015 or 2016. Absolutely demolished by the Cavs. I thought the Hawks had a very good team chemistry wise. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, but then
I'm providing another example.
Okay. Okay.
Just saying, yeah.
Okay, I see what you're doing. All right.
I'm gonna go. Yeah.
So we're just gonna go to the next topic. So the next topic is buy or sell the fact that talent is overrated.
Okay.
What are you thinking? Similar discussion, yeah.
Talent is overrated. I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say buy. Yeah. Just because I think, just from the media, people get really hyped with because you got a bunch of good players together. You're not really sure how it will fit. Because that's what we're really all about. It's similar, but I think this one has more of a media aspect to it.
Okay.
Right? Just because you look at maybe like the Browns, and you got Mayfield and OBJ.
And everyone else, really, yeah.
And it's super hyped because, OBJ, super talented player. But you got to consider there's 53 people on a team. There's so many factors, injuries and stuff. It's just tough.
Well, I agree with you on that point. I was kind of looking at it from more of like a individual player, not like a team.
Okay.
So, on that standpoint, if we're using Odell, is Odell a kind of a distraction? Kind of, sure. But he produces. So, but back to the topic, I think talent is probably one of the most overblown thing in sports. And for me, it's all about your makeup and stuff like that. Dude, you can have the most talent in the world, but if you're not, if you kind of falter under pressure and shit like that, or you're not willing to change your game or how you play as the game changes, you're fucked.
Or if you just don't care.
Yeah, or Andrew Wiggins. Yes, he's a really talented player. He just doesn't give a shit. And I would much rather have the guy that lacks in talent but works his ass off, because I'm like, all right, I'm getting the most out of this guy. When you look at Andrew Wiggins, you're just like, Nate, are you serious?
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it's an interesting discussion though, because everyone, before the drafts and stuff, oh, this kid's so talented. I'm like, I really don't care. Cam Reddish, he's really talented, but he does not care. And I already know he's not going to do shit in the league. He won't do anything. He was undraftable for me. Undrafted. Dude, I watched him play, and I'm like, bro, he would rather be playing 2K than doing this. That's how I felt.
Wow.
Dude, Cam Reddish was a fucking red flag if I've ever seen one. All right, we're going to go. So we got 2 more topics. This one's an interesting one. So This one's basically the fact that in like the grand scheme of things, a rookie year for a player doesn't matter that much. So what do you think for this one?
Wait.
Oh, dude, these technical difficult. I'm sorry, boys. We're trying to figure it out here. We're not stopping the recording. Rookie years, man, do they matter? Buy or sell?
Oh, okay. I'm saying sell, but not like a complete sell. Like, I think they matter. I just think in a lot of situations, it's really more of like a transition from college to the NFL,
Okay.
like a development. Like getting the scheme and stuff.
Well,
it's a lot different.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah, it's a lot different.
So I think if they're not good in their second year, then that's worrying for sure. But first year, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter at all, because you look at a player that excels in their first year, probably going to be a great player. Probably, not in all cases, depending on position and stuff like that. But I'm going to go with sell, a light sell.
Oh, I'm going a hard buy. Oh, I believe this one fully. Oh, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of players that can step into the league and like succeed in their rookie year just because no one really knows who they are. So they can kind of like pounce on that, like I'm not losing the word here, but you get what I'm saying. Like the fact that they don't really know who you are, they don't really know how you're gonna go to the next level. It's just basically like they don't have tape on you. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. So what separates like the okay players from the great players is what happens their second year. And for me, that's really the telling. Like if someone doesn't succeed their rookie year, I'm not gonna say that they're fucked. I'm going to wait it out a little bit. And same thing for if someone excels in their rookie year, I'm not going to say, oh, they're the next thing. I'm going to be like, okay, let's wait.
Okay, I think my counterpoint to that, I think it depends on position. I think if you look at a D lineman and they excel in their rookie year, I think that's going to be a really good player. You look at Bradley Chubb, I think I know he's a really good player. Just because that's one of those positions where you can tell. Also look at Quentin Nelson.
Okay.
I think when you're in those sort of positions, that's when the rookie year can be telling. But if you're like a quarterback,
it means nothing. It means like basic.
Running back, like skill positions like that. That's a bit different.
Yeah, so maybe it's like a position-based point, but like overall, I just think that as we talked about with the talent is overrated thing, I feel like the media kind of drives this like shit basically, and everyone is on Patrick Mahomes' dick right now because he had a great rookie year. I'm just like, all right, is Patrick Mahomes really good? Yeah, he is. But let's see if he can do it year two, because not everyone's gonna have tape on him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean,
I'm not saying he's gonna fail. I'm just saying let's see. Let's see before we crown him the best player to ever walk on the fucking turf, dude. Jesus Christ. So that's kind of the way I look at it. All right, last one for sports. Do you buy or sell the fact that winning is all that matters?
I'm going to go... Okay. I think it depends on the way you look at it.
It's a tough question. It's a tough question.
Kind of a light buy.
Okay.
Because I think winning is really what it matters, but it also matters how you go about winning.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think if you look at the example, if you sign... I don't know, let's say, Kareem Hunt. That's not as extreme.
What about if you signed Durant like the Warriors did? Does that help you?
Oh, no, I'm completely okay with that.
Oh, are you talking about morals?
Yeah, I'm talking about the morals.
That's
the only thing I'm hung up
on. Okay. For me, I'm gonna kind of give a cop-out answer. I would kind of go like a light sell, because it really depends on how you lose. I know that's a cop-out answer, but like, all right, in the grand scheme of things, winning is all that matters, sure, because that's like the overall goal. But all right, if Rodgers loses to somebody and he loses 41-38, like no one really cares. Like when Brady lost the Super Bowl to the Eagles, no one really like blamed that on him, so no one really cares. And it's the same thing for LeBron. When LeBron loses these finals with Durant on the Warriors, no one really cares. When LeBron loses to the Mavs, it's just like it's a stand on his career. So I feel like for us to really get an answer, we'd have to go like player by player. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like in football especially, if you're not a quarterback, you really don't have that much of an impact. You can only do so much at a certain position.
I don't know.
Like Odell, he can only do so much to impact winning.
Yeah.
Like he could go for 2,000 yards and his team still wouldn't make the playoffs if he was still on the Giants because their defense is awful. So that's what. But are we really gonna say, oh, that season doesn't matter because you didn't make the playoffs? No. So that's kind of. It's hard for me to say, basically.
Yeah, I think it's more like if you're a coach, then I think winning.
Oh well, if you're a coach, that's different because you have like full control.
Yeah.
You're kind of like If you're a coach, it's different. Then
I think it's
if you're a left guard, like just kind of you can only do so much.
Yeah.
Yes, you get what I'm saying. You can, or if you're like a center for the war, you can only do so much at your certain positions. All right, so that kind of caps off for sports. We're gonna go into the entertainment portion. So the first statement, I guess, buy or sell the fact that Kanye is the greatest artist of all time. We haven't talked about Kanye enough on this podcast, to be honest.
Wait, greatest artist?
Yeah, artist.
Not just in hip hop, in all of.
Yeah, like in terms of music.
Okay, I'm gonna go with sell here.
Okay.
Just because I think Kanye is the best hip hop artist.
So could you give us a name for who would be in front of him?
If we're counting, are we counting like bands or anything?
Artists.
Okay.
However you take that.
Okay. Well, you could go. I mean, see, it's kind of tough because a lot of the great artists were part of bands.
That's true.
You look at like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and such.
Okay.
I think you could look at like a Prince.
Okay.
He had a very legendary run.
He did.
I believe in the 70s.
I don't really know.
I might be completely wrong.
I'm not gonna begin to know. I'm not gonna try.
But I know he had like a legendary run.
Okay.
You could go like a member of the Beatles.
Okay.
Paul McCartney or John Lennon.
All
they
right.
both went on to have successful careers after the Beatles.
That's
you
true.
got to think about their careers on the Beatles. I think I would put Kanye definitely top 5. Definitely top 5.
Okay.
Probably top 3 to be honest.
So for me, this is like an easy buy.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of like rebuttal to what you said. So obviously, like the Beatles have more of an impact than Kanye, but I feel like no particular person does. You kind of get what I'm saying. So for like the fact that Kanye did it solo his entire career, I just think that puts him like a little bit above a Paul McCartney or a John Lennon, just because like they kind of like feed it off each other. Like I don't know, who knows if they would have had their like success that they did solo if they didn't have the Beatles. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. I do have a counterpoint to that.
Okay.
Doesn't it's not like a full rebuttal, but like you look at hip hop artists like Kanye,
mm-hmm.
And you look at some of his albums, like let's say Kids See Ghosts with Kid Cudi, and that's kind of like being a band. It's like a joint project. You look at a lot of his production was inspired and helped with a lot of people.
Okay.
Plenty of people over the years. You look at My Dark Beautiful Twisted Fantasy, or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So many people hopped on that project.
Okay.
There's so many people working with him. You think about how many people like worked on just like the production of some of those songs.
Yeah.
That's kind of like being in a band. It's not the same. I get like Kanye's the main. He's the main.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like,
yeah.
I just feel like because Kanye had the vision, that's why he's a little bit above the Beatles.
Okay.
That's where I kind of draw it. Like, so yeah, I mean, for anybody to be successful today, you have to have a group of people, obviously. But Kanye had the vision, and then he just kind of brought people in.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of, and also I feel like Kanye kind of his music aged really well. Like I feel like a lot of his albums were before its time, and I feel like he's one of the most influential artists just because of how much he changed like the way the game worked.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like we just kind of had to talk about the GOAT conversation. Who knows? Maybe Kendrick can take the crown or whoever the fuck. We don't even know.
I want to throw in Michael Jackson in there. I don't know.
I feel like Michael Jackson, while he had one of the most like iconic careers, I don't know if he's the greatest artist, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I just thought I'd throw him out there.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be listed because it's fucking
Yeah,
Michael.
I didn't want to disrespect MJ like that.
Okay. All right, so the next topic, so just switching gears, we have buy or sell the fact that binging a TV show is like the worst way to watch a TV show.
Okay. I'm going to go hard sell here.
Oh, I'm going hard buy.
Because I think you have to look at the wording. The worst way? Is it the worst way? Okay.
I'm not saying like you play it while you're doing homework. Like we're saying like you're focused. Like that's all you're doing. That's what I thought that was like a known thing, but
no. I have a different situation.
Okay.
Let me present you with a different situation. You watch a TV show,
mm-hmm.
and then let's say you don't watch it for like 3 weeks, and you watch it again. I'm just saying, I think binging would be better.
Okay.
Personally, because I don't think binging is that bad.
All right,
really
so
I don't think. I think there are some definite flaws with binging, which I'm sure you'll get into.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what you get to follow the storyline. You know what's going on. So at the very least, you have that. Maybe you don't catch every little thing, but you understand what's happening.
Okay.
And unless you're like just oblivious or like dumb.
Yeah, or you're just not paying attention.
Then you'll kind of get what they're going for.
Okay, so for me, I've done both here. I've like watched TV shows in like one episode every few days, and I've just binged it. And what I found, I feel like for me, I can't even binge shows anymore because I feel like half like the fun of the show, especially like the shows that I watch, like a Breaking Bad or How to Get Away with Murder, it's like predicting it.
Okay.
So I feel like if you binge it, it's like you lose out on so many predictions. Like, I feel like, like the fun of a TV show would be, season 4 of Breaking Bad, you're on episode 9 and you just stop and you just let it kind of like digest for a few days. And you just think about it, what's going to happen here, rather than just watching 9 through 12, be done with it. And then you just I don't know, I feel like when I binge it, I'm just kind of like, damn, I really just wasted that.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think there are some definite positives to binging, like maybe not binging a whole season, but like if you get to like the finale or something, the last like 4 episodes, like of Stranger Things. I know you don't watch Stranger Things.
I haven't watched it yet, no.
Of season 3 of Stranger Things. What I like towards the end of the season when things started, you start to see storylines kind of like
build, like speeding up. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and they like combine with each other, like they connect.
Okay.
Like I just gotta see what's happening. So it's just kind of like that.
No, it's that want to see what happens.
It can be good when it builds up. I don't know. It can make the reveal like more intense or something. The ending. I don't know. I think there are some definite positives. Well,
it's not. I feel like. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like me personally. Like I just love like if I'm watching a show, right, and like the entire day at school, I can just be thinking about what's happening in this TV show and then go watch it. I feel like I enjoy these shows so much more rather than just watching like them back to back. And you gotta get what I'm saying. I just like let shows digest. There's particular shows, there's like 80 episodes. I might, if it's a long season, you can watch a few back to back, but like don't watch like a full season of Breaking Bad in 3 days because you just don't get the full experience.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right. The next point. Statement, whatever. It's a lot harder in today's era to be a comedian than it ever was. So what are your thoughts here?
I'm gonna go sell.
Okay.
Because for the main reason that I think sharing content on the internet has never been easier.
Okay.
And that is a great way for comedians. You see clips online of comedians. Okay. That's a great way of getting their craft out there and reaching more viewers as opposed to just going to like a bar and only speaking to those like maybe like 30 people or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. For me, it's I buy this one just because I feel like we're living in like a really sensitive time. So like the jokes a comedian can make are really narrow because like, they could quote unquote cross a line and then the entire crowd gets offended and then you're fucked.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think in a content sense, I
Oh, content-wise, absolutely, because you can spread your content worldwide. But from like a comedian's point of view, you're like, all right, I can't make fun of people who are like, gay or something because they'll get offended by it. I'm not saying you kind of. It's just like back, like 30 years ago, there weren't any boundaries. You could kind of make a joke about anything, and people want to take it as personal as they do today. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just from a comedy standpoint, it sucks.
Okay.
Because there's there's certain jokes where I'll be chilling at school and I'll think of a joke and I'm like, that's gonna offend some people, so let me not do that. I'm not a comedian, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. Like, you can't make fun of anything now.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
All right. Next one. This could probably be a hotly debated topic. So, objectively, let me stress the point. Objectively, Ariana Grande is a top 5 artist currently. Not ever, just current day, today.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this one? We haven't talked about Ariana at all.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I really just don't understand. Actually, can you? What do you think?
I buy this one.
You buy it.
I do buy it.
You buy it.
Uh-huh. I have purchased this statement.
Of course.
So, all right, I feel like you need to hear my point to make your rebuttal. So, I'll go into my point. So, I feel like Ariana is arguably, besides like a Kanye or a Kendrick, she's one of like the more talented people in the game. Like, dude, her range is fucking stupid. Like, her
voice.
Yeah, her her voice,
dude,
like the range of her voice.
Better voices. She doesn't have.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Who?
Dude.
Give me a name.
I don't listen to like.
Bro,
dude,
have you?
Like an insane voice. Like, she's a good singer.
Bro, have you heard that? Did you see her SNL skit? Dude,
okay,
that shit was
I get
wild.
she can sing. Just saying, like.
Bro, her voice is more impressive than like a lot of things.
A lot of people can sing.
Not like her.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people can rap, but like not like Kendrick. That's what I would put it at.
That's really not the same.
Well, alright, who would you like in like I know pop's not our forte, but like who would you put on like Ariana's like level? Like who would you compare her to? You get what I'm saying?
Okay. I mean,
because like obviously you don't listen to pop, so it's a little bit difficult. But like, do you have any?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like an Ed Sheeran. I don't know.
I feel like she's more talented than Ed Sheeran. Dude, her voice.
We're not talking about talent, right? We're talking about.
Well, I mean, obviously, talent helps you become a top 5 artist.
Yeah, but in terms of the music, the product she's producing.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's better.
I don't. When I listen to it, I don't think like, oh, that's incredible.
No, like, honestly, bro, the album she released this year is one of the better albums that's been dropped this year. And I'm not kidding.
Okay. I think it's. I haven't listened to it, but like.
It's just like it's just different because obviously we're not female, so we can't really think from that perspective. But I can like respect it. You get what I'm saying?
Well, okay. I don't think you have to be a certain gender to like respect your music.
No, not respect it, but to enjoy it. Yeah, you kind of do.
Nah, I don't know. I think there's some guys enjoy your music, but
vast majority don't.
Either way, I think if you look at music as a whole, I don't know how you put her in the top 5.
Okay, so let's just.
The argument you really have is popularity.
Let's just run through a quick top 5 quickly.
Okay.
So let's just not go any order here, right? So in my top 5 right now, I would have Kanye, I would have Kendrick, I would probably have Frank Ocean, I would probably have J. Cole, and then I would have Ariana around there. And the only other guy that comes to mind would be Childish Gambino. But he hasn't really dropped anything this year, so it's kind of tough for me to put him there.
Okay.
So, like, that's, like, objectively. I'm not, like... Because you get what I'm saying. So, who would you... I just want to hear, like, your top 5. Then, like, I can kind of see where you're coming from. You get what I'm saying?
I agree with the first 2.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that should be in everyone's top 5, really.
Then I'm going to go with...
Denzel's probably going to be there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Denzel.
Okay.
People sleep on Denzel. If you're listening to this, you haven't listened to Denzel, you should.
I just think Denzel is an acquired taste. You either love him or you hate him.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. But you should at least check him out.
You should definitely try it, but yeah.
I feel okay. All right. Let me think.
So now you know where I'm coming from there.
I know Ariana Grande is not there though.
Okay.
Because like.
I just want to hear the names because then I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm not putting J. Cole.
J. Cole, yeah, I might put Gambino over J. Cole to be honest.
Yeah. I want to stray away from the hip hop. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I might go some Khaled. I go some Khaled.
Oh, dude, he's just so bland.
So is Ariana Grande.
I disagree, like completely.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like Ariana's like a lot more like her like. Dude, like the only song that Khalid released that I even like have any respect for is Location. Everything else is just dead. Well, Ariana, like, dude, a lot of the songs that she's released, like, they've been like complete hits. I know that's but in an objective discussion, you have to think about the MD, dude. They're so catchy. God.
Well, I mean, okay, I think that's just because you don't like Khalid or whatever.
No, I respect Khalid, but like I put Khalid on the same level of Chance. They're just kind of like feel good music.
Yeah, I mean that's what Ariana Grande is, but
Ariana does it a lot better.
If you're looking at how catchy their music is, I don't know. Khalid's very high on the charts, pretty often. So I mean, clearly some people think his music's catchy. I'm not a huge Khalid. I don't really listen to Khalid.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of artists, like, first up, Ariana's a lot more established than Khalid because Khalid hasn't really been here for a while. And secondly, I feel like, if you ever listen to Ariana's album, she's really good at telling a story. So, I don't know. Yeah, yes, she is.
I just think, alright, I don't know, man.
So, alright, so who would be the fifth? Let's say there's Khalid's there. Jesus. Seems like you're kind of struggling here, but I don't know.
Some water.
I feel like you're just...
Shawn Mendes. I don't know.
Shawn Mendes, you don't even believe that.
Just as good as Ariana.
Oh, jeez. All right, so you can have your opinion here, but all I'm saying is, like, I feel like you trying to make that list. I don't know. I feel like it kind of proves my point.
Well, okay. I'm just trying to think of artists that are not in it. I could name 5 rappers better than Ariana Grande.
No, objectively. Because you named Okay, yeah, go through it.
Alright, well, you got the 3 rappers I named on my original list.
Okay.
You got A$AP Rocky.
Nah.
He is objectively better. He just is objectively better.
I disagree.
He just is. He simply is.
Who's 5th?
Let me scroll through my playlist.
Oh, jeez.
I'll come up with something, don't worry.
I'm not worrying.
Vince Staples is objectively better than Ariana Grande.
Ooh, Vince Staples? Ooh.
He just is objectively better.
Yeah, I think Ariana's better. All right, we are running into a wall here. We're just going to go into the next discussion. All right. So the next statement: do you buy or sell that like it should be like a knock on an artist if he or she uses autotune? Like the fact that autotune is bad. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say sell because
yeah.
I think artists should strive to use their voices. But, I mean, if you can't sing, that's okay. You can still make good music.
Oh, I sell because it just... I put autotune on the same level as a beat. It just sounds better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a big deal.
Like, J. Cole can do stuff without autotune, but, like, like on Middle Child, like, the chorus is obviously autotune, and it sounds better.
Yeah,
so you just have to use it to your advantage. Like, it's the same thing of putting like a beat or like a bass drop. It's the same. It's like the same thing.
If it sounds good, I don't care how you did it.
The only thing I care about that I want you to do is just like that your lyrics mean something. That's it. Everything else is roll. All right, so that's it for entertainment.
Yeah, but if we're just talking sonically, I think if it sounds good, that's good. Then it's good. I don't care if it's like you got like the beat from like throwing something out of a window or something. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Yeah. All right, so that's it for entertainment. We're going into miscellaneous. This is gonna be an interesting discussion because we have really nothing to base off here. But number 1, first topic: do you buy or sell the statement that social media disconnects us? Kind of talked about this on the podcast, but
yeah.
It's a discussion that needs to be had.
I'm gonna say bye.
I'm a hard buy on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say bye.
I mean, I'll just kind of give my answer here. I think that social media kind of creates just like, it's just like no one. All right, so like social media, right? Everyone's trying to portray like the best, like the best version of themselves. It's very rare for someone to post like a picture of them like not smiling, or like all of the pictures on your feed are usually just people having a good time, or on like your Snap story, whatever. So I think that kind of paints a bad picture because you're like, all right, why aren't I there? Like if you're like meeting someone new, you're like, oh, why did I not get invited? Like stuff like that. And also, I feel like social media is an awful way it's an awful way to portray how someone's like speaking. I said that wrong, but basically like there's a lot of times where I'm a person that uses sarcasm a lot. Like that's how I make people laugh, is like sarcasm. So I can be texting somebody and like they have no idea what I'm talking about, and then they like get offended, and I'm like, dog, it's a joke, and then it's like a really awkward conversation. Well, if we were in like a call or if we were face to face, it would have been easy. So I feel like because of that, it's just like you should just strive to either see them in real life or just to talk to them. So I don't know, and like social media is just like a way for people to be like comfortable, and they really shouldn't be. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So what I was gonna say is, I just think that social media doesn't really replace face-to-face interactions, and I think
it does, though. It does.
No. I'm just saying.
Are you saying it shouldn't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Oh, I absolutely agree with you there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it shouldn't replace face-to-face.
Not even face-to-face, just like a phone call.
Yeah, and it does. So I think in that way,
it disconnects.
Yeah.
All right. Basically. Next one. Now we're gonna get to go into some more political ones. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Buy or sell the statement that money is the root of all evil.
That's not political.
Well, actually, no. It kind of, you can make it political. Though. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of why. That's why I hesitated.
No, just because I don't know how you say it's the root of all evil.
Okay.
Because I think some people are just straight up, or there's just other motivations,
Okay, so I'm a light buy on this one because
really?
Like a really slight buy. Like if it was like a percentage, I'm like a 55% buy, just because like money means power, and power, you kind of get what I'm saying. So like people will do anything for money, dude. So I don't know, like the whole prostitution type of thing. Like that's what I first thought of. I know it's kind of weird, but like that's an evil. I consider that an evil.
Is prostitution an evil?
I consider prostitution an evil.
Okay, that's a whole other discussion. But what I was thinking of, I think when you look at the wording of like all evil, I think like if I present you a situation like, let's say some guy cheated on his wife.
Okay.
And his wife, like, I don't know,
they divorced?
Assaulted him or something.
Oh, okay.
Let's not get too
graphic.
Sure, graphic. Let's say took a lead pipe and just hit his knee. Knee's blown out. That's pretty evil, but it's not about money. It's about,
but I just kind of lean towards like, what if they were together because the husband had a lot of money. I don't know. It's an interesting. A gold digger, a classic gold digger. A lot of couples are because
I'm just saying, in that situation, money is not involved.
No, I know. All right, so I'm just saying, like, if you go back at let's say that couple that you mentioned, right? What if they were a couple because the guy had a lot of money? That's what I was saying.
But let's say they're not.
Oh well, if they're not, then it has no correlation. I was just using that as a way to look at it. Because that's how a lot of couples, like, I don't know, there's gold diggers out there. I feel like, maybe I agree with you. It's obviously not all evil because that's just dumb. But money is like it's a motivator that brings out the worst in people.
Okay.
Like no one talks about money. Like
I think people talk about money.
Dude, no one talks about money.
I think people do.
At least at my school, like, you know, I'm not like, oh yeah, like no one talks about it.
Okay.
I'm just talking like socially.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think it kind of depends on what environment you're in.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, I'm not going up to people and be like, oh yeah, I live in Andover. You know, it's just like, it's just not, like, no one really talk. I feel like it's kind of like an accepted thing socially to not talk about, like, how much your parents make or how much debt you're gonna, stuff like that, you know? All right, we're kind of running into a wall here. So, next statement. Do you buy or sell that the American dream is still alive? So, for those that don't know the American dream, basically the fact that you can come to America and kind of make your own living, kind of do what you want.
Yeah, like if you work hard, you will get paid, and you will be able to make a living. Yeah. I'm gonna say, I mean, it's kind of a sell, but it's a buy at the same time, in the sense that I think it's still possible. Like, it's possible, but like you look at how often it happens, and it's not great.
Oh, I'm a hard buy. Oh, I'm a hard buy. Yeah, just because I feel like the American dream had like a shelf life, in the sense that now, like, I feel like everything is kind of based off connections, like who you know.
Right.
So I feel like because of that, like, you know, if you're coming from, like, I don't know, if you're coming from like Syria, like you're a refugee from Syria, like you have a chance, but it's just not as good as it was because now everyone's connected. Now, you know, that you're gonna take like the Yale graduate over you just because he went to Yale. So I feel like in today's kind of society, it's a lot harder to build for your own, and then also I feel like it's a lot harder to like get your name out there because everyone's trying to be an entrepreneur. So when you have so many, like, when you're battling so many people, unless you have like that idea, it's just tougher. It's just tough.
Well, it's a lot tougher. I think American dream, you don't like have to be an entrepreneur or anything. All I'm saying is, I think a good example is people that live like with not a lot of money, you know, living paycheck by paycheck.
Okay.
You really can't move up in the world when there's not really an opportunity. Like, I read a book called Nickel and Dimed, right?
Okay.
It's one who is fairly well off, trying to live on a salary of a minimum wage salary, like a lot of people do in this country. Like a large number of people do.
Like,
and it's really just not possible.
Yeah.
Like, you have to live in some very, very poor conditions.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really pay rent and buy food it's tough. It's real tough. Without working, like, extreme hours. So I think in that sense, I don't think you can really say the American dream really works.
Well, I think, like, the American dream was...
Because those people are working, like, basically just as hard in a different way.
Well, it's just a different field. Like, it's like they're working just as hard, but, like, the job they're accomplishing isn't, like, not as close as, like, the importance of someone else.
There's really nothing they can do.
Oh, you know, I agree with you. Like, they're just kind of stuck in, like, deja vu, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I feel like the American dream is kind of like, you know, that you start at that point and then you can just kind of build from that.
So there's really no building. So I think...
Oh, there's a chance to build it. It's just a lot harder than it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. Next statement. This is going to be great. Do you buy or sell the fact that America was, in fact, once great? So the whole Trump slogan, "Make America Great Again," that whole thing.
I don't support Trump at all, but I'm going to go a hard buy here because America was great. We were a great country. We kind of are still.
Okay.
Kind of. We're very bad in a lot of ways.
Okay.
But we're still great in a lot of ways. Because you think, I don't know, dude. There's more freedom in this country.
There is. I agree with that.
Than a lot of other countries.
Vast majority,
like countries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The wealth. You look at the wealth of the nation. We're one of the most wealthy countries.
That's true.
We're one of the most influential and powerful.
That is true.
We check a lot of boxes. I mean, there's definitely some very bad things about America. But
yeah, so I'm copying out on this one. It's impossible for me to say because it just depends on the lens you look at it from. If you look at it from like an economic standpoint, then of course, yeah, it was great. Or if you look at it from, as you were talking about, like the power or the freedom, yeah. But if you look at it from how we got there, then you got to say no.
Yeah.
So it's just it really depends on how you look at it. If you look at it, if you're purely money, then obviously we were great. If you're purely morals, then obviously we weren't. because like the way we even got American territory was basically just kick Native Americans out for like we just walked in and said, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Then there's slavery.
Well, yeah, then there's slavery.
Yes.
There's dropping like a bunch of world wars that it's just like it just depends. I'm copping out on this one just because it depends on what your values are and how you look at it.
Yeah.
So there's no right way to look at it, but like what your values are will depict your answer. So if you value like an economic status or a lot of money, then obviously we're successful. If you value like a moral way or like going about it the right way, so to speak, then it's a hard sell because obviously. So it just like it depends. That's all I can really say because like personally I value morals. I think I would say a light sell just because like the way we got there is ridiculous. But I don't know how America would be if we had any sort of morals. So it's just hard to say, man.
I kind of didn't really think about that aspect of it. So in that sense, I don't know.
It's just hard. It's just like the way you look at it. That's just the only way you can get a real answer.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at it from like all right, yeah, like slavery was a thing. Hating on anybody that wasn't straight was a thing. Basically kicking Native Americans out of the country and not building reservations for them. It's still a thing. Building a wall. I know it's more recent, but like that's still a thing though. It's just like it depends on the way you look at it.
It's not. I don't know if we're great. Yeah.
So like we're great in an economic, in a power, in a freedom sense, but we're far from great morally.
Yeah, and even I would. Yeah.
That's why it's tough. That's why it's tough.
I'm gonna retract my answer.
Yeah. Like it's just it's impossible to answer. It's literally impossible because if you say, obviously everybody should wish that slavery didn't happen, but then like someone would say, all right, what if like then they give you like a map for what the world would look like without slavery? It just depends. Like I don't know, dude.
What?
No, like have you seen those things like? If we didn't I forget, it was like if we didn't do something that was like really bad morally, like we would have lost to the Spanish and then we would all be speaking Spanish.
That's not so bad.
No, it's not so. I was just using that as an example. Like I don't really know the repercussions because like morally, I would retract a lot of like 90% of the things that America has done. But, like, I don't know what America would look like if we didn't do said thing. So it's hard for me to say. That's all I was trying to say.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
All right, this is actually the last one. So, this is kind of like, what is that? Is a movement called, like, a body positive movement? Oh, what is that fucking movement called? Basically, it's kind of like, the fact that it's like, like the thought that it's okay to be fat and we shouldn't, like, frown upon people for it.
Okay, all right.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about. So,
okay.
You want me to go first or what?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Because I think. Wait. So what's the statement I'm buying yourself?
Like the lack of fat shaming people is like hurting them more than helping them.
Well, that's like a double negative. Hold on, let me.
All right. So like back then, if you were fat, you get made fun of in school and stuff. And now it's like completely frowned upon to do that. So the statement is: do you think? Okay, yeah, you could. Okay, yeah.
If we're talking fat shaming, I'm gonna say no, like you shouldn't, because for a couple of reasons. I just don't think that's like a really okay thing to do.
Okay.
Like to someone's face and stuff. It's kind of just not what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And. I don't know. You don't necessarily know their situation, maybe, because some people.
Some people are just inherently overweight. Yeah, they're just inherently.
Yeah,
overweight.
they grow up and their parents feed them certain things.
Yeah.
It's not really up to them.
Okay.
So that's kind of a tough situation. But I do think everyone themselves, like if you yourself are overweight, I think you should definitely strive to be not overweight.
Okay, so here's what I agree with everything you say. Okay. But I buy it because I feel like all right, obviously if you have like a genetic issue or you got like something if it's something that you can't control, then like obviously like you can't control it, so it's really not your fault. But like I feel like when you're overweight, you have to you have to really go for it to really lose all that weight. And if we, put it in like the media and stuff as like, I would call it like like it's justified to be fat. It's just not though. Certain ages, sure. If you're a teenager and you don't control, what food comes in your house, sure. But dude, if you're 30 and you're still fat and you're just like, oh, it's just the way I am and I can't change it. Like, dude, you gotta try to change it. I just don't want to grow. I just don't want to have a society where, like, it's okay to be fat because it's not. Unless it's like a genetic thing or if you can't control it. If you can control it and you're just fat, dude, like, it's not okay. Like, it's just not okay. Dude, America's one of the most overweight countries in the world. I think we are the most overweight countries in the world. Like, dude, like, there was like...
I think we were surpassed by a couple of countries.
No, like, there was this thing, like, if we went to war tomorrow, like, only 3 out of 10 people would be fit to go to war. Do you know how bad of a stat that is?
Yeah.
Like, god damn, like, it's just... Like, I get it, when people are fat, they're at, like, a pretty bad state mentally, but, like, we should show them how to get better, not be like, oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think... Okay,
God,
that makes sense. I just think...
Like, the whole fat models thing, like, oh, it's cool and stuff, but, like, models are meant to be, like, what you strive for. I know it's, like, it's like, oh, what's that thing? It's, like... unrealistic expectations, yeah, that's the word I was looking for, but it's like, what if, like, you don't see that in guy promos, like, some guy that's, like, 500 pounds modeling, it's like, everyone would just kind of make fun of him. You get it? Like, I don't know, like, oh, yeah, we're striving to be 500 pounds now. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think,
come on, man.
I think it's tough.
I just think of it like...
I don't think we should, like, fat shame anyone.
Oh, yeah, maybe that was a bad word, but, like, we shouldn't make it okay to be overweight.
I just think, not even that it should be okay, I think everyone that is overweight, I don't know, should try not to be, just for themselves, like, not even, like...
Just mentally, physically, everything.
Kind of tough from our perspective.
I mean, yeah, but it's like... I mean, it's like...
It's tough. And
like people are like, oh yeah, it's not my fault that I'm fat and they eat fast food every week. It's like,
yeah,
don't eat fast food. I don't know. It's just like I just think that this is kind of like a cop out way for them to justify themselves being, because everyone in today's day, everyone wants to blame everyone else. Everyone loves playing the victim.
Okay.
Like it's like, yeah, it's not my fault. This happened. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I just see that a lot. It's not a bad thing because sometimes that's just the way it works. But like playing the victim, it doesn't really help anybody.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, oh yeah, I couldn't, do anything today because it was raining, and like it's just like, dog, come on, man.
What?
No, like people actually do that, dude. Like, trust me. Or like, oh yeah, dude, I failed this test because the Pats were on last night, man. It sucks. What? It's just like, dog, you got to take some responsibility here.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting way to end it. I think. Amy, dear, would you like to add anything else? We get there.
Nah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see what happens in the next podcast in terms of like what we're gonna talk about. We could go back to the fantasy football mock draft. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Leave it in the comments if you want to see that return. But I don't know. I feel like this is like a kind of because like in this type of scenario, we can really cover anything. Like we can cover so much in one episode. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah. Leave
your reactions in the comments to this type of format if you guys like it better. And yeah, that's kind of it here, boys. Yeah. Any final words?
Don't think so.
My final word is Ariana Grande is a heavily underrated artist.
Oh
See you, boys.
It's not.
Would you like to get your farewell in?
I should read it.
Do you want your farewell on, man? It's still recording?
Yeah, farewell.
There it is.